The Buffalo Bills remain one of the NFL's most consistent and dangerous teams, but as the season progresses, the toll of injuries is starting to show. After 5 weeks, the Bills sit among the AFC's best, though they just suffered their first loss of the year, falling in a frustratingly close contest to the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. The defeat stung, but with upcoming games against the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers, there is optimism that Buffalo can quickly rebound and return to the win column. Still, beyond the record and highlight reels, there is an area of growing concern within the roster: cornerback depth. Injuries have ravaged the Bills' secondary early in the season, and the cracks are beginning to show. Rookie Dorian Strong, who had been carving out a role in the rotation, was placed on injured reserve and will miss at least 4 games. Fellow rookie Maxwell Hairston, a player the team had high hopes for coming out of training camp, remains on IR and has yet to make his debut. With both sidelined, the Bills' cornerback room is dangerously thin. For a team with championship aspirations, this is not an issue that can be ignored. That is why trade speculation has already begun to surface, and one intriguing proposal could provide Buffalo with exactly the reinforcement they need. Josh Weil of Pro Football and Sports Network recently laid out a scenario in which the Bills and Panthers strike a deal that helps both sides address glaring needs. The trade looks like this. Buffalo Bills receive CB Michael Jackson. Carolina Panthers receive T.E. Dawson Knox. At first glance, it's the type of swap that seems simple yet logical, filling a hole for both teams. Weil explained his reasoning in detail. The Buffalo Bills have been constantly hit with injuries at the cornerback position this season, and getting some depth would go a long way toward ensuring they aren't hanging on by a thread at any point. Mike Jackson is having an incredible season for the Carolina Panthers, ranking as the 11th best cornerback in the entire league based on our PFSN CBI ranking system, which grades his performance so far at 89.1, or AB+. Weil's analysis highlights the urgent need for Buffalo to take action. With the cornerback position depleted, the Bills are a single injury away from entering crisis mode in the secondary. A mid-season trade could provide not only depth, but also a stabilizing presence on the outside, something crucial as the team prepares for a stretch of games that could shape their postseason positioning. On the other side of the equation, the Panthers have their own problems to solve. Tight end Jatavian Sanders, a promising young player, has been dealing with injury issues. Behind him, the depth chart lacks proven options, leaving quarterback Bryce Young without a reliable safety valve over the middle. Knox, a veteran who has been a dependable target for Josh Allen in years past, would bring stability and experience to a position that desperately needs it in Carolina. For Buffalo, Knox's role has diminished since the emergence of Dalton Kincaid. The second-year tight end has cemented himself as a focal point of the offense, both as a red zone weapon and as a reliable target between the seams. Rookie Jackson Hawes has also begun to carve out opportunities, already matching Knox's yardage production so far in 2025. With Knox effectively pushed down the depth chart, he becomes a logical trade chip, valuable enough to draw interest, but not essential to Buffalo's current offensive structure. Meanwhile, Michael Jackson is playing the best football of his career. Through 5 weeks, he has totaled 19 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 4 pass deflections, and an interception. Pro Football Focus has given him a grade of 61.8, reflecting his reliability in coverage and his willingness to support against the run. What makes him especially appealing is his ability to hold up on the outside, something Buffalo needs desperately with Strong and Hairston unavailable. If the Bills pulled the trigger on this trade, Jackson could immediately slide into the cornerback rotation behind Christian Benford, helping to solidify the position until the rookies return to health. Even after Strong and Hairston come back, having Jackson as part of the unit would provide depth and flexibility in a league where cornerback play is often tested by spread formations and elite passing attacks. From Carolina's perspective, the move is equally logical. The Panthers are a rebuilding team with little to play for in 2025 beyond developing Bryce Young and evaluating young talent. Trading Jackson, while painful given his strong performance, could net them a piece that addresses a more immediate need. Knox, still just 28 years old, has several years of good football ahead of him. He is a versatile tight end who can block in the run game, stretch the field vertically, and serve as a reliable check-down target. For a team desperate to provide Young with consistent weapons, acquiring Knox would make sense. Financially, the move is workable. Knox is under contract, but his role in Buffalo no longer justifies his salary. By moving him, the Bills could free up resources while also addressing a glaring defensive weakness. For Carolina, absorbing his contract is less of an issue, as they are focused on surrounding Young with stability and experience. The broader question, of course, is whether the Bills should be aggressive at all. General Manager Brandon Beane has historically been calculated with in-season trades, weighing the long-term implications against the immediate benefits. But with Josh Allen in MVP form and the team's window to contend as wide open as it has ever been, the case for a move is compelling. Injuries have already forced the Bills' hand at cornerback, and banking solely on rookies to return healthy and productive is a risky gamble. The AFC is loaded with high-powered passing offenses. Whether it's facing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, or Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, the Bills know that their secondary will be tested. Depth at cornerback is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Adding Jackson could be the type of under-the-radar move that pays off in January, when a single defensive stop can swing a playoff game. At the same time, Buffalo's offense would hardly skip a beat without Knox. Kincaid is blossoming into one of the league's premier young tight ends, and Hawes is already showing flashes. By trading from a position of strength to patch a weakness, the Bills could make their roster more balanced and playoff-ready. In the end, this proposed deal between Buffalo and Carolina is not the kind of blockbuster that dominates headlines. It's not the Chris Olave trade speculation or a splashy move for a superstar. But it might be exactly the type of pragmatic transaction that contenders make to shore up their roster and maximize their chances of reaching the Super Bowl. If the Bills want to ensure that one of their few vulnerabilities doesn't come back to haunt them, acquiring Michael Jackson could be the right call. And for the Panthers, flipping a player at a position of depth for one at a position of need could help stabilize their offense while adding a veteran presence to guide Bryce Young. With the trade deadline approaching, deals like this are what separate passive teams from proactive ones. The Bills have already proven they are among the NFL's elite. Now, it's about making sure they stay that way through the grind of the season. A move for Michael Jackson could be the insurance policy Buffalo needs to keep their Super Bowl aspirations alive. Do you think Bills should really invest in a trade for Michael Jackson? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.